Video, I'm going to talk about OXBULL, OXS, OXB, and what it means to get into an IDO. And this is based on the question we get quite a bit about how to get into early crypto projects. Now, in order to do that, in many cases, you have to put quite a bit into staking and purchasing a token like OXBULL or OXS or OXB that allows you to get into early projects. And so they have this platform where if you're a certain stakeholder in their platform, then they allow you access. And so I'm going to go through that and share why I think that's important and potential entry costs and different things. So enjoy this video and feel free to comment with questions, but hopefully that helps. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that we get in terms of how to get into projects before they jump up tremendously. How do you get into, the Veracity, or get into Axie Infinity, or how do you get into these different projects before they just fly? And there's a couple things you could do. You could, go and check CoinMarketCap and see which ones jump right when you start getting into them. And then there's other ones that you might just enter at the right time. One thing that I do is once I hear about a project multiple times and I haven't heard of it before, I write it down or I put it in my notes, and then I go and I look into it usually the next day. And when I do that, I typically find that the project that I am getting into is one that's trending or just about to trend. But if the green bars are like straight up and down, I am not jumping into that, because if it's right now at its all-time high, I could be jumping into something that it's at its all-time high, and then all of a sudden, right when I get in, everything drops, and that's happened before. So a lot of people are like, how do I get into a project that just started? And here's something that Zach found. He's part of this. It's kind of like a mastermind group where they share with each other some of the different projects that they're getting into. And as we build our community, we're going to start telling you some of the different projects that we're getting into. Now, today is December 8th, and I want to share with you something that we've done. So there's this project, and if you're looking at my screen right now, there's this project called OXBULL. And OXBULL is a good project, but like if I wanted to go check it out, CoinMarketCap. All right, let's go there. So if I go to CoinMarketCap and I type in OXB, and you don't have to go to CoinMarketCap, a lot of people use a DEX, don't judge me, whatever. All right, so if I wanted to get into pre-sales of or what's called an IDO, an initial DEX offering, I could get whitelisted to be a tier 1 investor on OXBULL IDO. Okay, so if I wanted to get into the OXB pool, I would connect my wallet and it would start showing me all the different projects. I'm sorry, it's not showing up. Maybe I can connect my wallet. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so it'll show a bunch of different projects that are open right now. Let me go to the OXS IDO and show you kind of what I'm talking about. So let's connect a wallet. Okay, so on OXBULL, it will show the same thing where there's all these different projects that you can get into. And so like you can get into bonus tiers and tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3, and tier 1 is the best, tier 2 is second best, and so on. So you can get into some of these different projects before they've actually released on CoinMarketCap and some of these others, but some of them are very expensive to get into. So for example, it says on the website, if I got into an ecosystem token, I would stake 8,000 OXBULL. Well, the price of OXBULL right now, the reason why I went there to look it up, is because it's $4.30. So I would have to stake 8,000 OXBULL. So 8,000 times $4.29. That's 34,320. dollars I'd have to put into OXBULL, stake it. Now there are rewards for staking it that I can get back just for holding on to it and staking it, but that's a big entry point. That's a really high, and like even a week ago it was like $5, and so we were looking at like $40,000 or something. It was just insane. It was a really high amount. So I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily want to spend that much money to get into the IDOs. Now, there are some cases where people have gotten into an IDO, an initial DEX offering, so they're getting into the token before it's gone big. And there are people that are 100xing their amount that they're getting into. So they're putting in like $500 into one of these new IDOs, and it is flying, 100xing, 77xing. And some of the guys are like, we've already made our money back of our initial purchase of OXBULL, of our initial staking. So all of our money is now back. So they're basically now playing with all profits, which is pretty awesome. So we were looking into this, and then we looked into the Solana coin, and it's OXS, and OXS was a lot smaller. OXS right now is $1.49. So if in order for me to get minimum IDO qualification for tier 1, I had to do 14,000 OXS. So I looked at that and I said, okay, so 14,000, and it was 148. Okay, so times 148. So now my entry point is 20,720, which I realize is still a really high amount. I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm just saying it's significantly less than it was at one point, like half the price of the OXB. Now, some of the projects that I'm getting into or that I'm able to get into are less. But for example, I am staking at 50% APR right now. And in about a week, we've been rewarded with 136 passive tokens of OXS. And so the price of OXS is $1.49.48 times 136. So we have $200 in gains in about a week, just on this alone, not including anything else. And so if the price goes up on our 14,000 OXS, let's say it goes up to $2 or $5, then we have the 14,000. So let's say it goes up to 250 times 2.5. Now it's at 35,000 in value, and we only invested 20,000, for example. So it can be a good thing. It doesn't mean it'll go up, but its all-time high is, let's see what it is about 219 right now. So if it goes back up to its all-time high, then we are looking at a good gain right there. So $2.19 times 14,000 is 30,000. So that's $10,000 we'll make in just the price of the coin. But it could go down, so you never know. The one thing we liked about this is that the projects that it's doing are based on the Solana network, and Solana has awesome utility, and the fees are low. It's a great network. So on Soldex, there's a Soldex, this new project, Soldex AI. It's brand new. The public sale was December 8th. That's on this one. On OXBULL, in order to do that, you had to stake 14,000 to get in the tier 1. But Lightning Launchpad, TrustPad, Synapse Network, all of these different launch pads are different ones that you could figure out how to stake into and then get amazing returns on. So I just wanted to make that clear that there is this opportunity for you to be able to get into some of these early tokens, but sometimes it might take quite a bit of an investment. I haven't looked at every single one of these. TrustPad looks pretty good, but it's pretty expensive as well. I haven't looked into Lightning. The reason we liked Launchpad is because a lot of his mastermind group had already done it, and they have seen massive gains, 35x's, 77x's, 100 times returns on some of the projects that they've gotten into. So pretty cool. In order for you to get on this one, again, I get nothing for sharing this, so don't think this is some sort of scheme for me to be able to get something out of this. This is just something that we like sharing. The first thing that you would need to do is download the Phantom wallet. So you go to add to Chrome, it'll pull up this. You click the add to Chrome button, it will pop up here. You create your website, write down your 12 seed phrase, and then all of a sudden now you can start investing. You can, I use KuCoin, and then I transfer the Solana over, and then we were able to get into the Soldex Tier 1 offering. The most we could do is $550 on USDC, and so we did the max we could do, and let's see what happens with Soldex. In order for us to get rewards, we'll be rewarded, I think it's you hold for over 8 months, and then if you get that, then you get some rewards tokens, and so we plan on doing that. But let's see what happens. Hopefully it makes some really good returns and gains for us and gets us some of that money back that we originally invested. But this is one way to get into initial offerings that could be significant gains for people. Again, I understand it is not a low entry point, which is a little bit disheartening for some people, but there are some that you could get into. So I would look around at different launch pads. BSC launchpad, Binance launchpad, oh my gosh, it is so expensive to get into. Some of these other ones, the newer or the smaller ones, you can still get into and get some really good offerings on. So I would definitely recommend getting into those. There's other places you can go to get into pre-sales. I know that Coin Sniper is one of them. It's just, there's a big difference between these IDOs and these pre-sales. So you can get into some pre-sales on Coin Sniper, Mind Music, Metaswap, Gas. You can get into some of these. These are, in one day it'll launch, so you might be able to get into that pre-sale. But some of these tokens, a lot of them are meme coins, which is fine, but it's not the best place for you to get quality. I mean, if you compared Mind Music, and I don't know that one, or if I went to Christmas Shiba, if I went to Christmas Shiba and I said, okay, and I compared it to the potential of Soldex, that's probably not very close, right? So if you can, and you have some money to put into, it might be a good idea to put some, obviously not financial advice. I'm just sharing what we are doing because I think this is a really good opportunity for you to get into some initial offerings where you can get into these before they get listed on CoinMarketCap and some of these others and they start flying. So with that, I'm going to leave that with you, and hopefully this helps. So